We chose to conduct our experiment at the library using the library door. The norm at Rhodes University is that you enter on the left side of the door, making the door rotate clockwise. We got members of our group to enter on the right side of the door, making the door rotate anti-clockwise. Now the question is, are students going to conform and enter on the right side, or are they going to wait and do it the normal way by entering on the left side?
According to Philip Costanzo, conformity refers to the matching attitudes, beliefs, and norms a particular group shares. These are subtle unconscious influences. Salma Cloud says this is a form of social influence which involves a change in beliefs and behavior in or to fit in with the group. Clutchfield defines this as simply yielding to a particular group pressure.
Our hypothesis for this experiment was that once we get some members of our group to enter on the right side of the door, making the door rotate anti-clockwise, other students would feel the pressure to also enter on the right side, although they are aware that they shouldn't do it. According to the definitions that were just given, Clutchfield's definition, which states that conformity can simply be defined as yielding into group measures, is the most suitable. This is because, according to some of the comments the students gave after conforming, most of them said that although they knew it was wrong, they felt the pressure to do what members of our group did before them.
I know what's on your mind. Second I saw you, I knew where this would go. I know what's on your mind. You don't have to tell me, 'cause I already know. I know it's happening fast, baby. Girl, that doesn't mean that the sudden love won't last. Love at first sight is more than just a dream. Dreams come true. Girl, I'm looking at you, looking at me. This could be true love at last. Just do what you're thinking, baby, and set your body free. I know what's on your mind. Girl, you can try, but you can't hide it from me. I know what's on your mind. You think it's secret, but it's easy to see. I know what's on your mind. Second I saw you, I knew where this would go. I know what's on your mind. You don't have to tell me, 'cause I already know. You think it's secret, but it's easy to see.
Social identity theory in social psychology is a study of communication and actions taken between personal and social identities based on an individual's group membership. The establishment of groups gives a sense of social identity, which a social identity theory aims to specify and predict the circumstances in which the individuals think of themselves as group members. The theory of social identity also considers the consequences of personal and social identities for individual perceptions and group behaviors. Social identity theory also looks at how individuals try to increase self-image and status of a group that they are a part of by discriminating against another group. This process is also known as social categorization, which simply means dividing the world into us and them.
Rhodes University students, who form part of the students at the university, form a reference group. Because we are constantly in an environment where we interact with each other, prescriptive and proscriptive norms are established. The prescriptive norm in this experiment is going through the door in a clockwise direction. The group recommends this behavior. We wanted to see what would happen if we formed a new group who established a new norm of going through the door in an anti-clockwise direction. We found that the majority of the students conformed and went through the door in an anti-clockwise direction. Although they may not realize it, they conformed because they believed that the reference group they belonged to established a new norm, as a large group of individuals participated in this new norm. Village states that identification between the individual and the group is not merely a passive process, rather it is an active process whereby the individual is transformed. We can see evidence of this in our experiment, where students actively conform to going through the library door in a clockwise direction. We found that those people who did not conform to our group's norms made an active action of waiting for the door to stop and turning it in the other direction, the right way. This shows how valuable the social identity theory is in understanding this experiment. The individuals who did not conform have become transformed in such a way that they cannot conform to the group and go against and break their group's norms.
I did research on strengths of social identity theory. The strength of social identity theory is that it moves towards incorporation of all four levels of choices analysis, which are intrapersonal, interpersonal, positional, and ideology. Social identity helps us understand behaviors such as ethnocentrism, favoritism, and conformity to in-group norms and stereotypes.
I did research on social identity theories and the limitations with regards to that. And what I came up with was that social identity theories influence one's decision making of wanting to belong in the society or the group. It doesn't give them the ability nor the independence of choice or the ability to choose what they want to do, because they're being pressured by what the society wants them to do and what the society will give them in return. I also found out that social identity theory cannot explain the social constraints such as poverty, which could play a bigger role in one's behavior than social identity theory. The other one, it cannot fully explain how group favoritism can lead to violent behaviors in those who are referred to as outcasts in the societies and who do not belong in the in-group. And if one feels left out, they then tend to be violent on the in-group. And the last one, it also inflates our sense of belonging in the society, where if I belong in the in-group and I belong in the society which is so-called the cool or the fun, whatever, and then the other people in the society, they are referred to as lame or nerds or what, and then they start feeling as if they do not they're not part of the society, or they're not contributing enough to the society because they are just outsiders and they are just outliers in the society.
I will be explaining our results with social identity and the group studies. People are social beings, and this is often expressed through the membership of the group. The theory of social identity states that we are influenced by the group to which we belong to. Byron explained that within the social psychology, the most important characteristics of the group includes interaction and mutual influence between the group members. Through the experiment of conformity that we attempted on a group of students, it showed that the mutual influence of social groups, as a majority of students got influenced by our participation, which led them to conform to the experiments by going the wrong way through the library door. As Byron stated, that our participation and interaction with various groups is a fundamental part of our daily lives, leading to groupthink, which Burdens and Howitz defined as a process of which is likely to occur when the group is highly cohesive and isolated from important information, leading to under-decisional stress. They also described the group polarization as a tendency for the pre-existing individual's opinions, ideas, and positions to which become more extreme and polarized following a group decision. As through our experiment, the group of students were polarized as they felt obliged to conform following the group of other students. We came with the experiment as a group through the process of brainstorming, where we met as a group and generated this idea of using the library door as an experience to get our results.
Group's decision-making process was brainstorming,
It is a process that is used to generate creative ideas, solve problems. It requires intense group discussions, evaluations, and analysis. We chose brainstorming because it incorporated the different ideas from group members, and it helped us to come up with an experiment that almost everyone in the group was happy about.
Okay. The reason why we chose the experiment that we chose was because after performing one experiment which involved a different style, as you could say, which involved an imaginary rope placed along a sidewalk and people were supposed to jump over it. However, this experiment did not work the way we wanted to work and did not show conformity. So then after a group discussion, we came up with another experiment which involved showing the change of direction of people walking through the rotating doors at the library. The reason why we chose this experiment was because we also thought it would be more interesting and also to see how people would react to a different flow around the revolving doors. And in the video, you can clearly see that there is quite a reaction from this experiment.
On the first experiment, things didn't go out well. However, in terms of cooperating as a group and trying to set out everything, we excelled in that. I can vouch for it. But when the first experiment we chose didn't work out, we opted for another one which extremely blown our minds. So I would say that as a group and as a unity, we try to work hand in hand. Everyone put in a lot of effort in trying to make sure that the experiment and the video comes to life.
This is how roles were assigned in our group. Rafaela Mutsuris volunteered to do the filming and the editing of the video because she has skills in that department. The rest of the group members split up the research work, and then we all combined efforts and took turns speaking in front of the camera.
Also, because I'm just conforming, like, let's do it. Like, if they're doing it the way. Why is it going the wrong way? So,
Okay,
like,
so you decided to have a conversation, but then still
but
conform.
I was anxious. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go in. It's going the wrong way. Let's go. Let's go.
Everyone else?
Yeah?
I mean, everyone was doing it, so
So
you
you-
wouldn't just stop and be like, so.
So you just followed?
Even though you knew it was the wrong way.
Well, I knew it was the wrong way, but then I had to follow because it was done.
What did you feel about going in the wrong way or coming out the wrong way?
It just felt like weird, and I was about to change it, but then I felt like, nah, let me not change it.
Why didn't you change it?
Because I saw other people doing it.
So you just conformed to
I
going the
know.
wrong way.
I know I did conform.
Okay, cool.
Yes, ma'am.